it would never have been the same business without the other guys being involved.
Affiliates, brilliant, aren't they? Changing lives, building communities, throwing barbells around. What's not to love? And some of them are really good. Some of them are brilliant! Packed classes, loyal memberships paid on time, good programming, madness. I'm gonna go to 10 of the best, find out how they do it. Think 2 brain, but with half a brain. CrossFit affiliates, brilliant.
We took it over in August 2020. Prior to that, the previous owners had it 2013, but this is its second location. So it was in the city at one point, and then they moved out here. And after about 3 years of being here, we took it over.
How many members have you got?
210 at the moment.
It's not just you, so there's other owners. It's like a group of either owner rather than just
Streaks. It would never have been the same business without the other guys being involved. There's 10 years between each of us in terms of I'm 47, Pat's 36, turning 37, and then James is 26, 27. All coming from kind of different places in life and different experiences, with different journeys through CrossFit and our take on things. We sit really well together, and obviously we discuss everything. None of us will make a decision without each other. But yeah, it's led to a fairly even division of labour as well in lighter terms.
Is you and the other 2 owners were all watching the class? Would you all been looking at different stuff then?
Yeah.
What would you be?
I would be watching more on how athletes are responding to the stimulus of what's in the programme. And then James would probably be more on the movement quality side and like how fat, like the performance end of it. Because that's his thing, really. I would say Patty probably would be more watching how a class is coached.
Mary's referring to this.
Yeah, but he's not into them.
They were heavily involved in the gay community going for years.
So you do the business administration side?
Yeah, like there's aspects of it that we all share, but I'd say I spend more time in spreadsheets than other people, yeah.
Do you do things differently than other gyms, do you think? Like you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like the affiliate gathering that we were at a couple of weeks ago was probably the first time I ever talked to another gym owner about how they run their gym, and to be honest, we didn't even go that deep into it. Like just as a kind of a casual observer, I'd say we probably put a little bit more effort into systemizing things that aren't like front of house, you know. Like everyone has like good programming and good scheduling and stuff, but we systemize a lot of the kind of back end stuff, like probably more than other people. So like HR processes to make sure that, you know, people's PTO is accrued properly every single month so that they're given their holidays later on, and that we put aside money to pay for those holidays and put aside money to pay for someone to cover those holidays, so that when it happens, we're not like, oh shit, you know, we don't know how we're going to afford to pay for this or whatever. And there's small little things that have to be done every single month. It might be a 10-minute job or a 5-minute job, and all of those are systemized and detailed and delegated and stuff. So we probably put a little bit more time into that stuff, and then into like the minutia of like what products we keep on the shelf for, you know, or in the fridge for people to buy, and when we restock those, as opposed to doing like a panic restock, you know, where you put in an order with someone and then you pay for it a month later and you don't have the money to pay for it and all this kind of stuff. So we just ironed out how we want all that to go. And then
how long did that stuff take
to set up?
Yeah. Did you realize you needed it as you went, or did you know from the off?
No, we just were profoundly uncomfortable. It's like a stone in your shoe that you're not aware is there, but you just know something's off. And we had that for years, and then we, believe it or not, it was actually a Ben Bergeron seminar that I went to, and he didn't even talk about stuff in that amount of detail. He was talking about really high level, like vision, mission, and then the, what do you call it, like the big, hairy, audacious goals, things that you'll never achieve, but you're gonna put there as your guiding light or whatever. But in ironing out that stuff, we started to see how that kind of more esoteric kind of vision filters down into a thing that might become like a policy for how you do things. That policy would then have a few procedures within it, and then those procedures are things that you can delegate on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. So it kind of came from that seminar, the idea that stuff should at least have some sort of a direction, and then eventually, then once you start to have a general direction, you can, I don't know, I guess, make it a little bit more real in terms of actual, like, here's the actual job you need to do on a weekly basis to make this happen.
In 2013, I weighed 130 kilos, and I was doing a type of class, a boot camp type class. And after a couple of years of doing that, the guy who was coaching the class said, "You really need to go to a CrossFit gym." He said, the way that you train or want to train and the things you want to do, you're going to find that in a CrossFit gym. So from 2016 on, I came to the original version of Limitless, and here I am now, 47.
So do you think, are you in a more unique position than some coaches because you've done it? Like, you've lived the experience of joining a gym overweight and having like bad habits, bad lifestyle, and needing to change it, rather than maybe someone who has never dealt with that and has always been physically active or has always been physically in shape, that can't relate as well, maybe?
I wouldn't say I would have. I'd have more insight into things, and it's provided me with tools. Like, I can help people because I have made every mistake up to this point. I have been on either one side of the fence, either I'm not. Some people might say I'm an extremist in one thing or another, that I'm either all in or all out. But even from a nutrition point of view, I either was overdoing it or not enough. So for me, it's been about finding balance, and then how do I convey that then to everybody else?
Yeah.
Like, where is that sweet spot that they're going to be fit and healthy and strong and everything that they need to be, and not be comparing themselves to other people, and live in that space where they're unfuckwittable.
What is the story then with the equipment? Like, how much have you added, reinvested, changed, or whatever since you got it? Like, what was here when you took it over first versus what we see now?
There were those only plates down there that are still in use. Everything else we have put in ourselves. So we took the gym over this summer of the height of COVID. We had just been given clearance to open again by the Irish government, and within 3 months of opening we were closed again. With no rig, nothing like that. This roof had to be put in. The rig had to be put in, except for the roof, we did everything ourselves. So it was a case of taking this chance of buying this gym off the previous owner, being open for 3 months, being told we're closed again, us being in the financial bind because of that, because we weren't an established business. When we took over, there were 19 members. Then it was a case of whenever we could, buy a rower, whenever we could, buy a bike curb. And then eventually we managed to get some financing. We put in showers and bathrooms, mobility area, dumbbells, and then a new rig. It's been a labour of love.
If you know that, generally speaking, you're running your bank account from 10 grand down to zero every single month, that means you need to have 100 members paying 100 quid each or whatever. And if you've got 120 members paying 100 quid each now, roughly speaking, you've got 2 grand plus, and as long as you're not blowing that, you'll be fine. In reality, tends to be a little bit more complicated than that though, because you've got things like people paying yearly memberships, people paying, every 3 months. You'll have the odd punch card and drop in. That's all the money coming in isn't always, it's not always steady. And then with stuff going out, like, you might choose to pay your affiliation yearly or your insurance yearly, or then occasionally you need to replace some equipment or whatever. And so it's not always as simple as just, having the right number of members. You have to have that, of course. We just find that whenever we lived that way, we were always kind of waiting until the start of the next month to see what came through, and then hoping that nothing too scary came down the tracks. And just projecting stuff out and having all of that kind of thought of was ahead of time was a bit of a game changer. But once we were operating to the point where things were working, where we were able to pay all our staff and pay all our bills or whatever, it started to become more a case of how do we do things so that for instance the community and marketing kind of activities we were engaging in weren't driving business for this week or this month, but that it would make a difference 6 or 8 or 10 months down the line. We're doing things that matter to people long term, kind of building relationships and stuff. In the same way that massive company like Bugatti or whatever, they put an ad in I don't know, GQ or whatever. They don't sell a Bugatti off that ad necessarily, but when someone who can afford a Bugatti is looking to spend some money, they'll remember that ad. So it's more like a brand association thing. It's much more longer term. And of course we're operating on the same level as Bugatti, as you can tell.
And you do a competition as well?
Yeah.
In the summer?
Yeah.
It obviously adds stress and organisational administration hours and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but does it add to the gym as well, do you think, to the community and stuff?
For sure. This year, all of our judges are in-house, so they're all members of the gym who we have trained. So these guys have done the Open multiple years for us. So when we do the CrossFit Open, we do it just like we do in Midsummer. We do 5 lanes, we do heats, everyone has a judge, it gives everyone experience. We do our own in-house events as well, builds people up, and then the income that we get from Midsummer, we get to reinvest it back into the gym. So last year we invested in people. So we took on 2 full-time members of staff. We paid for their level 1. We did weightlifting masterclass with Secret Strength. We paid for that for everybody. We did gymnastic workshops. I went back to college. Patrick did his level 3. That was all paid for by Midsummer Games. That's what we do. Last year we invested in people, this year we're investing back into the gym. We kind of alternate between the two.
Yeah, we have our coach development stuff, which is I'd say the next layer. It's not quite bog standard stuff, but I've talked to other gym owners a fair bit about recently, because it seems that a lot of people don't do it in any sort of an organised fashion. We don't, the way we do this isn't massively structured either, in that as long as you're doing something to improve yourself professionally, we're happy. So some of our coaches would be on an academic track where they're doing pursuing a qualification in physical therapy, for instance. One of our coaches just qualified as a physical therapist. But when that's done, or if they don't have that track, then we provide them with the track, which is our kind of CrossFit Limitless coach development program, which is all CrossFit qualification based. So it has a bunch of sections that they'll go through, kind of chronologically, as in the most important stuff first, or the more basic stuff first, and then so you'll do your level 1, and then you do stuff on scaling and aging athletes and pregnant athletes and whatever.
All from CrossFit?
Almost all from CrossFit. There's 1 or 2 things that other places do better, like the pregnancy stuff. There's a crowd called Girls Gone Strong who do a slightly better version of that, and then we kind of mentor them through it. So it's not something that we farm out. We do it internally, but the qualifications themselves are obviously they're delivered by someone else, but we try to coach them through it and then try to help them apply that stuff in the gym here,